All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going deep into one of the most incredible stories from the Quran, Surah An-Naml, the encounter between the Prophet Solomon and a tiny, almost invisible ant. And using the brilliant insights from Ayatollah Javadi Amoli's commentary, we're going to unpack some really profound lessons about what real power, true knowledge, and deep humility actually look like. So let's start with a question that really frames this entire narrative. When you think of a powerful king, what comes to mind? Is it his massive army, his sprawling kingdom, or is it something else, something deeper? This story is going to challenge our whole idea of what strength and authority really mean. You see, to get a handle on the sheer might of Prophet Solomon, we first have to look at his father, Prophet David, and what the foundation of their kingdom was actually built on. The Quran doesn't kick off their story with talk of crowns or soldiers. No, it starts with something way more valuable. Just look at this verse right here. This is the bedrock. The very first thing the Quran mentions that God gives to David and Solomon isn't wealth or an army or a throne. It's ilman, knowledge. It's making a powerful statement right from the get-go. Their entire station, their authority, it's all built on this divine gift. And what's their first reaction? Not arrogance, but pure gratitude, acknowledging exactly where that favor came from. And this is a really key point from the commentary. When the Quran later says Solomon inherited from David, it's not talking about worldly possessions like gold or land, stuff you can split up. A prophet's true inheritance, the real deal, is knowledge and prophethood itself. It's a divine favor, not a material possession. And that's the basis of real authority, not some fleeting tower that can vanish tomorrow. Okay, so once that foundation of knowledge is firmly in place, then the Quran shows us what that divinely backed authority looks like in the physical world. And it is absolutely spectacular. We're talking about the army of Solomon. And trust me, this was no ordinary army. Now pay close attention to the wording here. His soldiers were gathered for him. This implies that this incredible force wasn't something he painstakingly conquered and built himself. No, it was granted to him by God. His power wasn't just over people. It stretched into realms that are completely unseen to the rest of us. I mean, just think about the sheer scale of this. His army had 3 totally distinct divisions. You have the jinn, these powerful beings made of smokeless fire. You have the humans, his subjects on earth. And then you even have the birds, serving as his eyes in the sky, his scouts and messengers. This shows a kind of authority that spanned across different dimensions of existence, all of it united under his single command. It's just mind-boggling. And if you want to understand the level of control we're talking about, the Quran uses this one perfect Arabic word, yuzaun. What does that mean? It paints a picture of an army so enormous, so vast, that the front of the line literally had to be held back, to be restrained, just so the back of the line could catch up. Imagine a parade so long you have to stop the front for an hour so the end can start moving. That's the kind of perfect discipline and immense scale we're dealing with here. So get this image in your head, a prophet king, gifted with divine knowledge, leading this unstoppable, multidimensional army in perfect, disciplined formation. They are the very picture of power. And then, this incredible procession comes across something completely and totally unexpected. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. An army of jinn, men and birds, so huge it creates a traffic jam with itself. What on earth could possibly stand in its way? What force could make it pause? Another kingdom? A mountain range? The answer is something so much smaller, it's almost unbelievable. And there it is. The whole magnificent show comes to a grinding halt because of the voice of a single ant. A creature so tiny you could crush it without even noticing. But Solomon, with that divine gift of knowledge that allowed him to understand all creatures, he hears it. He hears its desperate but incredibly intelligent warning. Okay, now this is where the commentary really invites us to put on our thinking caps. We're going to move past just the story and do a bit of a forensic analysis of what this ant actually said. Because packed into these few words is an entire universe of logic, of awareness, and even a profound sense of justice. Now, to really get this, we have to understand a crucial concept, Shukr. This isn't just about animal instinct, like a bird flying south for the winter. The commentary argues this is about a genuine level of consciousness, perception, and awareness. It suggests God has given a spectrum of this awareness to all of his creation. So the ant isn't just reacting to stomping feet. It is perceiving a complex situation, understanding it, and then communicating a sophisticated thought. Look at how perfectly structured the ant's speech is. It's a masterclass in communication.
Step 1, the warning. It gets the attention of its people. Step 2, the command. It gives a clear, actionable solution. Step 3, the justification. It explains why they need to act, the consequences. And then step 4, and this is the most amazing part, the exoneration. This isn't just some panic screeching, it's a well-reasoned, logical public service announcement.
But that last phrase, that is the absolute game changer. While they perceive not. The ant doesn't just see a threat, it actually assesses the intent behind the threat. It understands that Solomon and his massive army have no desire to harm them. The danger isn't malice, it's just their sheer size and unawareness. So in one tiny sentence, the ant warns its own people while giving a complete pass to the prophet and his soldiers. That shows an incredible level of perception and, honestly, fairness. So the big question is, how does the most powerful king on the planet react to getting a lesson in justice from one of the smallest creatures? Does he get angry? Arrogant? Nope. His reaction is something far, far more profound. His very first reaction is a smile. But now, the commentary is very clear that we need to understand what kind of smile this was. It wasn't the condescending smile of a giant looking down on something insignificant. It was a smile of pure, unadulterated joy and wonder.
In that incredible moment, Solomon isn't seeing an insect. He's seeing an ayah, a sign of God's magnificent power and wisdom. He's witnessing that shu'ur, that consciousness that God has woven into the fabric of all creation. The ant's speech becomes like a tiny mirror, reflecting the infinite greatness of the Creator. And Solomon's smile is one of deep spiritual insight, just grateful to be able to see it.
And what happens right after that moment of insight? It immediately turns into prayer. This experience, witnessing this incredible wisdom in a tiny ant, it doesn't puff him up with pride. It does the exact opposite. It humbles him completely and fills him with this overwhelming sense of gratitude. He instantly turns to God and makes this beautiful, comprehensive supplication. And this prayer is just perfect. It perfectly sums up the lesson of the whole story. It rests on 3 pillars. First, gratitude. He knows his ability to even hear the ant is a gift from God. Second, action. He asks for the ability to turn that gratitude into good deeds. And finally, the ultimate expression of humility. He asks God to admit him into the ranks of the righteous servants, not to be their king, not to be above them, but just to be counted as one of them. So we end right back where we started. True power isn't the size of your army, but the depth of your knowledge that lets you see God's signs everywhere and the humility to be thankful for it. And this whole story leaves us with this one powerful question to think about. If a prophet of Solomon's status could find such a deep, world-altering lesson in a voice most of us would never even hear, what signs, what wisdom, what moments of humbling truth are we just walking right past every single day just because we're not paying attention?